wheels to their maximum, using the marks on two adjacent spokes, and then add one to the rightmost wheel. 16. The method of re-zeroing that Pascal chose, which propagates a carry right through the machine, is the most demanding task for a mechanical calculator and proves, before each operation, that the machine is fully functional. This is a testament to the quality of the Pascaline because none of the 18th century criticisms of the machine mentioned a problem with the carry mechanism, and yet this feature was fully tested on all the machines, by their sets, all the time. 17. Re-zeros all the wheels to their maximum using the marks on two adjacent spokes. Every single wheel is ready for a carry transfer. 0.0000099999. Add one to the rightmost wheel. Each wheel sends its sorter to the next one. The zeros appear one after another, like in a domino effect, from right to left. 99999000000. Addition. Additions are performed with the display bar moved closest to the edge of the machine, showing the direct value of accumulator. After re-zeroing the machine, numbers are dialed in one after the other. The following table shows all the steps required to compute 12,345 plus 56,789 equals 69,134. Addition. The machine is at 0. The operator enters 12,345. 87654123345. The operator enters the second operand 56,789. If he starts with the rightmost number, the second wheel will go from 4 to 5, during the inscription of the 9, because of a carry transmission. 3086569134. Subtraction. Subtractions are performed with the display bar moved closest to the center of the machine, showing the complement value of the accumulator. The accumulator contains during the first step and after adding B. In displaying that data in the complement window, the operator sees which is a and then which is. It feels like an addition since the only two differences in between an addition and a subtraction are the position of the display bar, direct versus complement, and the way the first number is entered, direct versus complement. The following table shows all the steps required to compute 54,321-12,345 equals 41,976. Change display space. Move the display bar down to uncover the complement part of each result cylinder. From this point on, every number dialed into the machine adds its value to the accumulator and therefore decreases the total displayed in the complement window. 99999000000. Subtraction. Enter the 9s complement of the minuend. The operator can either use the inner wheels of complements or dial the 9s complement of 54,321, 45,678, directly. 54,321,45678. Dial the subtrahend, 12,345, on the spoked metal wheels. This is an addition. The result 41,976 is in the 9s complement window. 4197658023. Uses. Pascalines came in both decimal and non-decimal varieties, both of which can be viewed in museums today. They were redesigned for use by scientists, accountants and surveyors. The simplest Pascaline had 5 dials, later variants had up to 10 dials. The contemporary French currency system used levers, sols and deniers with 20 sols to a lever and 12 deniers to a sol. Length was measured in toises, pides, pouces and lignus with 6 pides to a toise, 12 pouces to a pide and 12 lignus to a pouse. Therefore, the Pascaline needed wheels in base 6, 10, 12 and 20. Non-decimal wheels were always located before the decimal part. In an accounting machine, 10, 10, 20, 12. The decimal part counted the number of levers, 20 soles, 12 deniers, and deniers. In a Sevilla's machine, 10, 10, 6, 12, 12. The decimal part counted the number of toises, 6 pides, 12 pauses, 12 lignus, and lignus. Scientific machines just had decimal wheels. Configurations machine type other wheels 40H302ND1ST decimal / scientific base 10 10,000 space 10,000 space 10 100 space 10 10 space 10 units accounting base 10 100 space 10 10 space 10 levers base 20 soles base 12 deniers surveying base 10 10 space 10 toises space 6 pides space 12 pauses space 12 lignus. The decimal part of each machine is highlighted. The metric system was adopted in France on the 10th of December, 1799, by which time Pascal's basic design had inspired other craftsmen, although with a similar lack of commercial success. Production. Most of the machines that have survived the centuries are of the accounting type. 7 of them are in European museums. 1 belongs to the IBM Corporation and 1 is in private hands. Location. Country machine name type. Wheels configuration notes. Clam Museum Paris France Chancelier Ski Accounting H6X10 plus 20 plus 12 Clam Museum Paris France Christina, Queen of Sweden Scientific 66X10 Clam Museum Paris France Louis Perrier Accounting H6X10 plus 20 plus 12 Louis Perrier Pascal's nephew, offered it to Académie des Sciences de Paris in 1711. Clam Museum Paris France Lit. Tardive, accounting 64x10 plus 20 plus 12. This machine was assembled in the 18th century with uniseed parts. 18. Musée Henri Lecoq, 19. Clermont-Ferrand France Marguerite Perrier Scientific 88x10 Marguerite, 1646, 1733. Was Pascal's goddaughter. 20. Musée Henri Lecoq Clermont-Ferrand France Chevalier Durand Pascal accounting 53x10 plus 20 plus 12. This is the online own machine that came with a box. This is smallest machine. Ways it meant to be portable. Mathematische Physikalischer Salon. 21. Dresden German a Queen of Poland accounting 108x10 plus 20 plus 12. The second wheel from the right has or heel with 10 spokes contained in a fixed wheel with 20 segments. This could be attributed to a Bade restoration. Leon Pass Collection Francis of Aim 85x10 plus 6 plus 12 plus 12. This machine was bought as a broken music box in a French antique shop in 1942. IBM Collection. 22. USA accounting 86x10 plus 20 plus 12. Limits to distribution and controversies. Pascal planned to distribute the Pascal line broadly in order to reduce the workload for people who needed to perform laborious arithmetic. 23. Drawing inspiration from his father, a tax commissioner, Pascal hoped to provide a shortcut to hours of number crunching performed by workers in professions such as mathematics, physics, astronomy, etc. 24. But, because of the intricacies of the device, the relationship Pascal had with craftsmen, and the intellectual property laws he influenced, the production of the Pascal line was far more limited than he had envisioned. Only 20 Pascal lines were produced over the 10 years following its creation. 25. The above is an excerpt from Pascal's letter to the Chancellor of France. When translated to English it states, "The second cause which I foresee capable of giving you umbrage are, dear reader, the bad copies of this machine which might be produced by the presumption of craftsmen. On these occasions, I conjure you to carry carefully the spirit of distinction, to keep you from surprise, to distinguish between leprosy and leprosy, and not to judge of the true originals by the imperfect productions of the ignorance and temerity of the workman intellectual property." In 1649, King Louis XIV of France gave Pascal a royal privilege, a precursor to the patent, which provided the exclusive right to design and manufacture calculating machines in France, allowing the Pascaline to be the first calculator sold by a distributor. 26. Pascal feared that craftsmen would not be able to accurately reproduce his Pascaline, which would result in false copies that would ruin his reputation along with the reputation of his machine. 23. In 1645, in order to control the production of his invention, Pascal wrote to Monseigneur le Chancelier, the Chancellor of France, Pierre Séguier, in his letter entitled La Machine d'Arithmétique. Lettre dédicatoire à Monseigneur le Chancelier. 23. Pascal requested that no Pascaline be made without his permission. 23. His ingenuity garnered respect of King Louis XIV of France, who granted his request, but it came at a price. Craftsmen were not able to legally experiment with Pascal's design, nor were they able to distribute his machine without his permission. /guidance. Social context of intellectual collaboration with craftsmen. Pascal lived in France during France's Ancien Régime. During his time, craftsmen in Europe increasingly organized into guilds, such as the English clockmakers who formed the Clockmakers Guild in 1631, halfway through Pascal's efforts to create the calculator. This affected Pascal's ability to recruit talent, as guilds often reduced the exchange of ideas and trade. Sometimes, craftsmen would withhold their labor altogether to rebel against the nobles. Thus Pascal was in a market that had a scarcity of skills and willing workers. 27. Importantly, artisans were not free as intellectuals to create the machine. Gottfried Leibniz, who built upon Pascal's calculator later in the 17th century, had the progress for his machine halted due to his artisans selling the machine's parts for financial solvency. 28. Pascal's own conduct led to difficulty in recruiting artisans for his project. This was rooted by his belief that matters of the mind trumped those of the body. Pascal was not alone, as many natural philosophers of his time had a helomorphic understanding of the inventing process. Ideas precede materialization, as form precedes matter. This naturally led to an emphasis on theoretical purity and an underappreciation for practical work. As Pascal described artisans, they work through groping trial and error, that is, without certain measures and proportions regulated beyond producing nothing corresponding to what they had sought, or, what's more, they make a little monster appear that lacks its principal limbs, the others being deformed, lacking any proportion. 29. Letter from the French royal allowing Pascal exclusive rights to his invention. This was arguably the first patent. Pascal operated his project with this hierarchy in mind. He invented and out, while the artisans simply executed. He hid the theory from artisans, instead promoting that they should simply remember what to do, not necessarily why they should do it, i.e., until practice has made the rules of theory so common that the rules have finally been reduced in taught. This stemmed from his lack of faith in not only the artisanal work process, but in the artisans themselves. Artisans cannot regulate themselves to produce unified machines autonomously. 29. In contrast, Samuel Morland, one of Pascal's contemporaries also working and creating a calculating machine, likely succeeded because of his ability to manage good relations with his craftsmen. Morland proudly attributed part of his invention to the artisans by name, an odd thing for a nobleman to do for a commoner at the time. Morland was able to recruit the best talent in Europe. His first craftsman was the famous Peter Blondiot, who had already received protection and recognition from French statesman Richelieu for his contributions in producing coinage for England. Moreland's other craftsmen were similarly accomplished. The third, Dutchman John Froman Thiel, came a famous Dutch family who pioneered a pendulum clock. 29. In the end, Pascal succeeded in cementing his name as the sole creator of the Pascaline. The royal patent states that he was his invention exclusively. 30. Achievements. Pascaline made for French currency which once belonged to Louis Perrier Pascal's nephew. The least significant denominations, sols and deniers, are on the right view through the back of the above calculator, showing the wheels. Besides being the first calculating machine made public during its time, the Pascaline is also the only operational mechanical calculator in the 17th century. The first calculator to have a controlled carry mechanism data load for an effective propagation of multiple carries. 31. The first calculator to be used in an office, his father's to computer taxes. The first calculator commercialized, with around 20 machines built. 5. The first calculator to be patented, royal privilege of 1649. 32. The first calculator to be described in an encyclopedia, Diderot and D'Alembert, 1751. 33. The first calculator sold by a distributor. 34. Competing designs. Schickard's calculating clock in 1957, Franz Hammer, a biographer of Johannes Kepler, announced the discovery of two letters that Wilhelm Schickard had written to his friend Johannes Kepler in 1623 and 1624, which contained the drawings of a previously unknown working calculating clock, predating Pascal's work by 20 years. 35. The 1624 letter stated that the first machine to be built by a professional had been destroyed in a fire during its construction and Thav was abandoning his project. 36. After careful examination, it was found in contradiction to Franz Hammer's understanding that Schickard's drawings had been published at least once per century starting from 1718. 37. Bruno von Freytag-Loringhof, a mathematics professor at the University of Tübingen, built the first replica of Schickard's machine, but not without adding wheels and springs to finish the design. 38. This detail is not described in Schickard's two surviving letters and drawings. A problem in the operation of the Schickard machine, based on the surviving notes, was found after the replicas were built. 39. Schickard's machine used clock wheels which were made stronger and were therefore heavier, to prevent him from being damaged by the force of an operator input. Each digit is a display wheel, an input wheel and an intermediate wheel. During a carry transfer, all these wheels meshed with the wheels of the digit receiving the carry. The cumulative friction and inertia of all these wheels could potentially damage the machine if a carry needed to be propagated through the digits, for example like adding 1 to a number like 9,999. 40. The great innovation in Pascal's calculator was that it was designed so that each input wheel is totally independent from all others and carries are propagated in sequence. Pascal chose, for his machine, a method of re-zeroing that propagates a carry right through the machine. 16. It is the most demanding operation to execute for a mechanical calculator and proved, before each operation, that the carry mechanism of the Pascaline was fully functional. This could be taken as a testament to the quality of the Pascaline because none of the 18th century criticisms of the machine mentioned a problem with the carry mechanism, and yet this feature was fully tested on all the machines by their resets, all the time. 17. Leibniz drawing showing 365 multiplied by 124. Gottfried Leibniz started to work on his own calculator after Pascal's death. He first tried to build a machine that could multiply automatically while sitting on top of the Pascaline, assuming, wrongly, that all the dials on Pascal's calculator could be operated at the same time. Even though this could not be done, it was the first time that a pinwheel was described and used in the drawing of a calculator. He then devised a